Today's test used a randomly selected intercontinental ballistic missile obtained from Monstroma, Montana. The United States of America tested a state-of-the-art nuclear missile, which showed results that greatly frightened the Russians after their boasting about the Burevestnik missile and the Poseidon torpedo. On the surface, we have news that the United States of America conducted a test launch of the Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile on November 5. The missiles are capable of covering more than 10,000 kilometers at a speed of 25,000 kilometers per hour. But this turned out to be just a distraction, because in the United States, a B-52 bomber was spotted carrying a next-generation stealth cruise missile. But the real danger for the enemy is that this is a nuclear missile capable of flying vast distances completely undetected. Interestingly, there was no public announcement about the testing of this missile, and it was basically spotted by chance on the wing of a B-52 during a test flight. Moreover, the camouflage on the bomber suggests that they still wanted to keep this test a secret. My name is Alexei Pichi. Let's talk about this topic. Before we begin, please subscribe, like, and leave a detailed comment below. Subscribe to my Telegram channel, Peachy News, using the link in this video's description. There we post videos and breaking news as soon as they come in. If you want to support the work of this YouTube channel, you can do so with any donation or a paid sponsorship subscription. You can do this using the links and details in the description of this video. It says there, support Alexei Pichi's channel. Choose any format that's convenient for you. I will be grateful for any support you provide. I'll begin with the publicly announced news. The United States of America conducted a test launch of the Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile. The launch took place on November 5 from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California without a nuclear warhead. This was officially reported by the United States Space Command. Quote, "This test, designated JT-254, assessed the current reliability, operational readiness, and accuracy of the intercontinental ballistic missile system, which is a cornerstone of America's national defense." A team of pilots from the 625th Strategic Operations Squadron using the Airborne Launch Control System aboard a United States Navy E-6B Mercury aircraft carried out the launch. They verified the effectiveness and continuous availability of the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Backup Command and Control System for the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Forces. There you go. According to the statement, the missile flew about 7,000 kilometers while the total range of the Minuteman III missile is about 10,000 kilometers. The United States Space Command added that this launch is part of a series of planned and periodic measures that are crucial for assessing and confirming the capabilities of the Minuteman III missile. Quote, "This test confirmed the reliability, adaptability, and modularity of the weapon system. Thanks to this comprehensive assessment conducted by a specialized team of pilots, we ensure the highest standards of integrity and reliability for our country's intercontinental ballistic missile system." And it's telling that this test took place against the backdrop of last week, when United States President Donald Trump instructed the Department of War or the military department, so it would be more correct to immediately resume nuclear testing on equal terms with other nuclear states. But it turned out that this intercontinental ballistic missile test was announced so loudly, apparently not for nothing. And it turned out that the test looked like a distraction from another test. Over the Owens Valley in California, back on October 29, a B-52 aircraft with special test markings was spotted carrying a payload that looked very much like the next-generation stealth cruise missile, the AJM M181 long-range standoff. Two of these weapons could be seen under the right wing of the aircraft. The B-52 aircraft of the United States Air Force was photographed by aviation photographer Jan Recchio. And it is noted that in the photo of the munition you can see an inverted T-shaped tail with three facets, folding wings under the body of the weapon, and a wedge-shaped profile both at the nose and at the tail. These details are very similar to the only public image of the long-range nuclear cruise missile AJM-181A long-range standoff, which, by the way, is supposed to replace the older air-launched cruise missile AJM-86B. And it is noted that these could very well be the first images of the secret weapon. And most likely this test was supposed to scare the Russians much more than the test of the very same international intercontinental ballistic missile Minuteman III. As noted, the weapon on the aircraft was mounted on external hardpoints of a multi-layered ejector rack, which can hold up to 6 types of weapons. The rack is also used by the B-52N to carry various types of munitions. And so journalists checked for possible similarities between this unidentified weapon and, for example, the AJM-154 Joint Standoff Weapon cruise bomb. However, some details don't quite match. Among them are the shape of the nose, the cover, parts of the wings, and that cross-shaped tail. That's why all the military experts agreed that the United States was actually testing the AJM-181A long-range nuclear missile. But what kind of missile is this, and why is there so much secrecy around it? The AJM-181 is a long-range weapon capable of delivering deadly nuclear strikes. For strategic targets, the long-range standoff is planned to be integrated both on B-52 bombers and on the B-21 Raider, which is currently under active development. And, as experts have noted, the long-range standoff weapon system will be able to penetrate and withstand the actions of modern integrated air defense systems from significant distances. To pursue strategic objectives in support of the Air Force's global strike capability and the primary function of strategic deterrence, the long-range standoff is a priority for the Air Force as the United States works on modernizing its nuclear forces. The missile has been identified as a critical capability for the B-21 Raider. Today, the Russian defense minister told Putin they must stay alert as the Americans near completion of B-21 Raider development and testing. And it is this new stealth bomber that will be equipped with 3 types of nuclear weapons. These are a cruise missile, the air-to-ground missile, 181, and the B-61-12 and B-61-13 bombs. The latter, by the way, is used exclusively by this new bomber. This weapon is being tested secretly, including last year. At the time, the then Executive Director for Air Force Weapons Procurement, Andre Hunter, informed the Senate Armed Services Committee that the program was proceeding according to plan. Quote, "Production is going well, on schedule, and ready for military delivery soon. And we're also managing the expenses for this program well." So this test of this interesting missile, I think, is much more fascinating than the test of an intercontinental ballistic missile. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments under this episode, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. That's it for now. Take care. Goodbye. To be continued.